Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the FauxShow. Today is Saturday, November 16th. My name is Angela.
My name is Chris.
And as most of you know, the FauxShow is not a real show. It is a social experience because I don't look at you. I look at the chat which I have here on my iPad.
Oh, the chat room? Well, I've got the chat full screen on my screen.
It's over there on a monitor where we can see ourselves.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's actually featured in this very specially crafted lower third. Let me tell you a story. I got a vision from wormhole alien orbs that have been distributed around the galaxy, which gave me an idea to take our lower third and give it the magic power of the JBLive.tv chat room. I then took that inspiration from those wormhole aliens and used compositing to graft it onto your screen right there, right now, with new, improved fonts and size.
We're going to have to talk about wormhole aliens.
Some people call them prophets.
What? Okay. All right, well, so today's episode is about teeth.
What?
Yeah. Well,
you had a bit of an adventure yesterday.
Yes. It's not necessarily, I mean, well, I did that adventure yesterday because of the show.
Oh, really?
Show prep, yeah. Actually, I wanted, yeah. So I went and got my teeth cleaned yesterday, but, actually, before last week's show, there was a big conversation about teeth in the chat room, and I was like, wow, everybody wants to talk about their teeth. Maybe we could do a show on it.
Who, really? Teeth?
Yeah, I know. It was the oddest thing, but that was like the big hit of the conversation before last week's show. So we're going to talk about teeth. And it's pretty interesting stuff.
Well, there is a lot to it. I could tell you, I have a vision of the perfect teeth. Maybe I'll tell you at the end of the show.
Okay.
We'll say. So where do we start with our teeth?
Okay, well, so there's some 10 things that you don't know, or you might not know, of course. Don't is a strong word.
Okay.
Some babies are born with teeth.
Oh, I feel bad for that mom.
I know. That would be kind of weird.
Ooh.
I'm not too much of a fan of that.
No.
They tend to grow in around 6 months. You know, Bella doesn't have any yet. But once they do, it hurts if you're nursing. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone loses their baby teeth. This is true. I still have a baby tooth.
Where? Where is it?
I don't know which side it's on. For crying out loud, get your finger out of my mouth.
Maybe I can feel it.
No.
Maybe it feels smaller than the other teeth.
Okay, do you remember that tooth that jutted on the inside of my mouth for a long time?
Yeah. Yeah.
That got
the
removed?
Dick scraper?
That was...
Yeah. What's the matter, Ange? What's the matter, Ange? Hey, Ange.
So that was a permanent tooth. That got removed because it was too hard to move into the baby spot.
Yeah. So did they have to go in there and...
They took it out.
Yeah.
What do you...
That's them taking it out.
So anyway...
Yeah. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so what next?
Yep. Some people can't stop losing teeth, which that's unfortunate, but at least there's dentures.
Yikes.
Right?
Yikes.
And you can always do something with your teeth, like put on a necklace like that, which I would never do.
That seems medieval a little bit.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, in a hardcore badass, like that guy on SpongeBob who's like chasing them the whole time?
Yeah,
What's his name? Stan or something. Anyways, he seems like the kind of guy that would have a tooth around his necklace. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Badass.
Mm-hmm.
Tumors can grow teeth. Tumors.
I do not see how that's possible. I do not see how that's possible.
Yeah. No one wants to deal with an abnormal growth, but...
I feel like I don't eat enough calcium for that to happen.
Teratomas are especially icky. Well, you do in hemp milk. It has more calcium than milk does, than cow milk does. The germ cell tumors can contain several types of tissues that are usually found in ovaries, testes, and near the tailbone. Oh my gosh, do you know what I read last night?
I'm sorry, what?
Wait, do you know what I read last night?
What?
Breast milk activates the same sensors that cannabinoids do.
Like in the baby's brain?
Give you the munchies, and yeah. Can you... Mind blown, right?
That is crazy.
I couldn't believe it. Of course, I read that while I was nursing.
Science, man. How does it work?
Okay, a tooth in your eye doesn't have to be a bad thing. Right? Okay, so listen to this. Ever hear the expression, I'd give my eye teeth? One woman literally gave her eye a tooth to restore her vision.
What are you talking about?
I know, right? In 2000, Sharon Thornton lost her vision to Stevens-Johnson syndrome, a condition that destroys the cells on the eye's surface. 9 years later, the 60-year-old woman elected to try an unusual surgery. I would say that's, putting it lightly.
Yeah.
One of her canines was removed, so her cheek and dental tissue could be implanted in her left eye, replacing the damaged cornea. Within a day, the blind woman had regained 20/70 vision and the hope of improved sight in the future.
That's incredible.
20/70 from blindness? My eyesight is 2500.
This is in the year 2000?
Yeah.
in 2000.
I know. So who knows what they've gotten
Wow,
to now.
Sharon. Good job.
Yeah. All right. Braces are cool as never before.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know. All right. So why don't you tell everybody about your braces?
I had braces. No, you knew me when I had braces, right?
Of course.
Well, I mean, you have known me forever, so...
Half my life. Half my life now. I will be 30 in less than a week. I've been with you for half my life.
You're welcome. So let me ask you this. You've talked about getting braces before. After watching my struggles with braces, now I had old school braces, right? Where they actually put razor blades on the outside of the braces. You know? Like it was just ripping stuff up. So, I mean, maybe like you've tried, what was it called? The clear stuff?
Invisalign.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was okay, but I wanted to go back. I did get an orthodontist.
You want more hardcore braces?
Hold on.
Okay.
I did go to an orthodontist to get the braces consultation and decided it wasn't for me because my teeth were fairly straight. I did do the Invisalign. I had to have a couple teeth removed, including the
baby the
DS,
the Dix paper,
and so I did that. But I had what the dentist said yesterday as ortho relapse. He said, "So you had ortho relapse, huh?"
What the hell is that?
I was like, "Wow, that sounds serious." He's like, "No, I just mean, you stopped wearing your aligners, right?" And I'm like, "Well, I know what you meant, but wow, way to put it professionally."
Yeah.
Yes, I did. So as it turns out, when you're pregnant, your gums get really swollen. It makes it hard to wear those aligners. And so I stopped wearing them when I got, started getting pregnant 5 years ago.
This is why I never get pregnant.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
I said I don't want swollen gums. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, the chat room is sort of sharing our sympathy. Mail Holler says, my 16-year-old daughter, which was just informed last week that she'll have to have braces. I remember that. I remember when I got that.
Here's the deal. The Invisalign is a really good option if her teeth are marginally straight. I was able to do it within a year. And I can't remember how many aligners I had, maybe 24. And you change them out every 2 weeks, get a new one. But the problem I ran into
is cost.
Yeah,
well,
really I think it's a lot cheaper now, but yeah, it costs $5,000.
Yeah.
But so I'm looking at a couple of my teeth have shifted just a little bit, and the dentist suggested that I get a bar placed behind my teeth to keep them straight.
What's the point?
Because I would prefer for them to be straight.
Oh yeah, okay.
It ruins my bite. I'm clenching my teeth. But part of the reason I was clenching my teeth was because I have bad fillings. Yeah.
Oh, that makes you clench your teeth, huh?
Yeah. Well, I had cavities growing inside the teeth, underneath the fillings.
So it hurt?
It hurt, yeah.
Any more on this?
And I didn't even know. Yeah, let's see. Not all cultures consider straight teeth the beauty ideal. I'd like to know which cultures don't, Humans will evolve past wisdom teeth. That's interesting to me. Apparently, they were needed, back then, but they're not so much needed now. So
why would that be? I mean, we're still eating meat and...
because it was mainly for, let's see, a third set of molars helped our larger-jawed ancestors grind up roots, nuts, and leaves.
Oh, well, I don't eat many roots.
Yeah, well, and we have tools to do that
Or
now.
leaves, actually.
Maybe you should reconsider.
I guess.
So I don't have any of my wisdom teeth.
Should I tell my story?
In a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, or in a second. I had all of mine removed one by one. And that was stupid. That was back when I liked the dentist. I don't like the dentist anymore. Go ahead.
Well, so here's my problem.
Okay.
I do 6 to 7 shows a week. I can't even remember how many it is. Is it 6 or 7?
I know, right? It's 7 or 8 now.
And that means doing a show every day of the week. And oral surgery means I can't do shows.
Right.
So about 6 years ago, my doctor said, you really have to get your wisdom teeth removed, like right now. Because I was, 27?
I don't know.
28? I don't know. Can't keep track.
You're only 31.
23? 21?
Whatever.
Whatever it was, the doctor's like, you got to get them removed right now. And I was like, okay, yeah, doc, right. Well, so here I am. And now I'm starting to think like I can kind of feel them.
Oh, yeah. No. Tooth health affects your whole body.
But here's my thought. Is like, why is it possible the human body really is so flawed that like we have to have those pulled, or can it not work itself out?
Sometimes they just grow in wrong.
That sounds like a money-making scheme by the dentist.
I thought the fillings were a money-making scheme.
I got mercury in my fillings.
Well, so he showed me in the x-rays where my filling has a gap, and I know it does because when I floss, the floss gets stuck on it. But also, he took pictures with a little probe USB cam that he stuck in my mouth, which is really cool. And so there were full color shots of my fillings that I've never seen before.
You're like,
you know?
can I get those on CD?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd like those for my library. Yeah. It was before he cleaned my teeth, though. So
they should show you before and after.
Well, that would have been cool.
Look what I just did.
Well,
for you.
Anyway, he showed where the cavities. You could see your tooth gets kind of discolored where the cavity is starting. And so, yeah, I'm actually really thankful because I have been grinding my teeth a lot lately, and that's why I finally made this appointment.
Yeah, I got to do something about it. What I would need to do is I need to hire somebody or clone myself, and then I can go in and get dental work done.
Right.
All right.
I've been trying to get him to go in. He hasn't been in for a long time. Okay, so one thing I want you guys to consider. Chris has pretty big gaps between his teeth.
Who, me?
Considerably. I do not. However, I prefer to use dental tape over floss because floss is thinner, but when I go to put it in between my teeth, it like shoots up and ends up making my gums bleed, which, by the way, bleeding gums means that you don't have very good gum health, or
Everybody
you just
knows that.
or you just jabbed it with, really fast floss. If you make it bleed because of that, that's a different story. But flossing does help make your gums healthier. So if you don't like floss for that reason, get some tape. Also, one thing I never knew before. Actually, do you remember Tara?
Yeah.
We had a friend over at our house like back in 2000, long time ago, and she asked for some floss, and I handed it to her, and she started like pulling out like a yard of it. I was like, dude, you're wasting it.
I'd like to use that more than once.
Because I was using like 4 inches at a time. Yeah. And that's it.
Well, see, the way I've always been taught to floss is you take and you spool it up over here and you spool it up over here. And like that. And
you gotta go back and
forth. Ooh, I like good. Yeah, that's good.
Anyway,
you'd be a good demo flosser.
So don't be afraid to use too much floss. You need that extra leverage and
well, the other reason I do it is I slowly unwind from one finger and wind on the other finger to move the dirty S down the chain, so I'm not like getting the dirty S up in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I learned this a couple years ago. You should floss after you brush. It kind of feels like the chicken or the egg, but it's flossing after you brush.
I feel like I brush after I floss, so that way when I pull stuff out and it's still just kind of like hanging out on the edges, I can just get up and wash it all out. Like I like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So where are you basing this from?
Well, flossing is not to remove food. Brushing is. Flossing is to remove plaque.
Okay.
Okay.
I still don't see why the order matters.
You can still rinse your mouth after.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll do that.
But yeah. So we have something really exciting for the faux show that has never ever happened before.
This is crazy. This is so crazy.
It makes the faux show that hasn't been a real show kind of a real show.
I don't think it's a real show still.
Okay.
Because this deal that we're about to talk about is so unreal
that
it would only work on an unreal show.
Okay.
So, first of all, we have to start from the very beginning. We are very excited to welcome Ting to the Faux Show. Go to faux.ting.com to get started. That's going to take $25 off your first month of service or $25 off your first device. Now, I have been a happy Ting customer since the beginning of 2013. Right now, I have the beautiful HTC One, which is one of the nicest built phones I've ever had with incredible front-facing stereo speakers. Highly recommend it. But let me tell you a little bit about Ting if you don't know. First of all, it's mobile that... Makes sense. That was your cue.
I'm sorry. I was loading this up over here.
You were. It's good.
I'm sorry.
You're looking at the page. Where were you going, Ange? What page were you going to?
Well, I was just noticing that it says Ting welcomes Faux Show fans, and that's really cool.
I know, right? That is cool. That's the official page. That's where you know you're at the landing page.
And just for the audio listeners, Faux, just in case you don't know, is FAUX.
Who doesn't know Faux?
Some people don't.
Okay.
Some people think it's Fox.
Maybe some people think it's FAUH.
Or FO.
So anyways, go to faux.ting.com to get started. Now, Ting is a mobile that makes sense.
Yep.
They offer no contracts, no early termination fees. I think that's a huge benefit, especially for our kind of more savvy audience. They also have some really, really nice features like pay only for what you use.
Right.
This is huge.
It is.
If you don't need a lot of minutes, then you don't pay for a lot of minutes. And if you end up getting, like for me, Ange can attest to this, like I avoid using the phone. However, during the holidays, family happens. right? And so I end up using more minutes. It doesn't matter. With Ting, I just pay for what I use. Plus, every account includes hotspot and tethering support. But here's the unreal part, something that's only available to the FauxShow fans. This is kind of crazy, Ange.
Yes.
If you sign up between now and December 8th by visiting faux.ting.com, you will become eligible.
Wait, sign up or activate a device.
Well, you gotta get a device or you gotta port a device. That's kind of like the defining thing you gotta do. You gotta either get a device, and there's lots of good devices. Chris recommends the HTC One, or actually, well, I shall tell you about the deal. But I got some exciting news for you, Nexus 5 fans. Here's what they're gonna do. Get ready for this. If you go to faux.ting.com and you sign up between now and December 8th, they're gonna award somebody $300 worth of Ting service credits. So you can get on Ting and have 3 or 4 months completely paid for by Ting, depending on your usage. Because again, it's paid for what you use. So you have $300 to try it out. Now you're thinking that's a great deal. Also consider this: if you're in a contract and you need to get out, Ting offers an early termination relief program. They give you up to 25%. It's about $75 per line that you need to cancel to get out of your current contract. All you got to do is buy your phone, port your number, and then submit your ETF claim to Ting, and they will give you $75 per line that you had to cancel. Now, that's an amazing deal. Here's the great part. You could win that $300 worth of service credits. You combine that with the early termination relief program, plus the fantastic savings. Average Ting bill is around $33 per month. Now, I don't know anybody who has a smartphone that has a bill that low. Most people are lucky to be around $90.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. Just data is $40 minimum, it seems.
That's why it's so great to pay for what you use, have no contract, no early termination fee. Plus, they have the ETF relief program. And between now and December 8th, you could get $300 worth of Ting credits. So go to faux.ting.com to get started. And if you are a Nexus 5 fan, I've got good news. It is time to bring your Nexus 5 to Ting. And here is the really great part. You can just buy it from the Play Store. You can just get your Nexus 5 from the Play Store. The Nexus 5 has like every radio built into it. So you just buy the Nexus 5. They've got instructions on here on what you need to do to get it activated. Do read this blog post. So go over to ting.com/blog. If you want to do the Nexus 5, you do need to read this post because there's a couple things you need to be aware of. But it's happening, man. I'm excited. You know what, Ange? I ordered my Nexus 5.
Mail Hauler in the chat room has already switched to Ting. And he spent $44 last month on 3 phone lines.
So this is one of the really cool things about Ting is you can have unlimited lines, and they all share pooled minutes, and it's just what each line uses. Flat rate is $6 per month, and this is awesome because you can get a line like, you know, if I was going to use a line, I don't leave the house much.
Yeah,
I don't leave the house too much, so I don't have to worry about it. But Ange is on the road all the time.
Yep.
So we pay appropriately for hers, which is not a big deal. We can pay appropriately for mine, which is not a big deal. Matt's on Ting, too. He loves it for that reason. It's really awesome. It's really flexible. You go get started by going to faux.ting.com. You could win that $300 service credits.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome. Now you would really be saving.
And then I want to hear from you.
Yes.
I want to know who wins.
If you switch, email Angela@jupiterbroadcasting.com. We want to know about it. I think that's going to be really cool. So
But that's not required. But just if you think about it.
If you want to. If you want to share your win with us.
Yeah.
So go over to faux.ting.com to get started. Go check out what they can do. And if you're a little bit on the fence, if you're not quite sure, punch that monthly calculator saving right there. Now, this is the kind of thing that if we hadn't switched yet, and I needed to convince Ange that I wanted to switch over to Ting, this is the kind of thing I would have showed her.
Yeah, because it does the math for you.
Well, no, because it's like if I would have put in what we used to pay for AT&T into here, and especially when you go to multiple devices, I would have just showed you this page, and that would have been like it right there. You would have, oh, okay. I mean, it's so awesome, and they have it right there over at faux.ting.com, so that's where you go to get started. Huge thanks to Ting for sponsoring the Faux Show. Go check them out. You guys have never seen a mobile service like this. They got an awesome dashboard. They got amazing customer service. You can call them at 1-855-TING-FTW anytime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern.
TING-FTW. That's great.
I know.
That's awesome.
This is the kind of company they are. This is the kind of company. And when you call that number, a real person answers the phone. Answers the phone. Like, you don't go through a call tree. A person answers the phone, and then they solve your problem. They own it. They're empowered. And if you want to talk about the Nexus 5, you can call them. They're Android geeks. They'll talk about the Nexus 5. So it's amazing. I love Ting. You guys go check them out. I'm so happy to have them sponsoring the Faux Show.
Yeah.
So thanks to Ting for sponsoring the Faux Show.
Woo.
Okay, Ange. So I've got a little bit of beer and teeth facts for you.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Are you going to try to convince me to drink beer?
No.
Okay.
No, I would never.
All right, let's do it.
So did you know that beer is good for your teeth? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Craft beers are rich in many vitamins and minerals. However, most notable is that it contains large quantities of calcium and silicon. A mineral like calcium that helps build strong bones, teeth, hair, and nails. So the way you get good hair and teeth is by drinking beer. Right?
At 10 a.m.
Hey, Ange, I'm just taking care of my teeth, okay?
Yeah, I'm not going to brush my teeth this morning. I'm just going to drink my beer.
Slosh around. Actually, the alcohol in the beer helps kill bacteria in your mouth.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting is that they both the person before I sat in the chair and the actual dentist asked me if I have used their like super wash, like it's like a super pick with water thing. Yeah. And it cleans them like you know, but and I tried to tell her I have a teeth sensitivity, like cold water really just doesn't do it for me. She's like, oh, it's room temperature. I'm like, yeah, it's not, and she can change the reservoir, and she didn't. Anyway, so he asked me, I'm like, you know, it's really strange that you guys are asking me that, but you know, I've had 3 kids naturally. I think I can handle this. He started, I was like, no. Really? Stop doing it. I can't do it. Yeah, he had to do it the old-fashioned way.
So do you want to talk about your what do you call it? The numbing medication you got?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So I have a blood disorder. There's an antibody in my blood that attacks healthy red blood cells. So through all 3 of my pregnancies, I had to get a lot of blood draws, at least 1 a month, if not 3 some of those months, right? And it's only just recently that I've started not liking needles. And I also, because of my thyroid, have to get blood tests regularly.
Where's this needle thing coming in too, by the way?
I don't know.
You're just getting old.
Probably because I'm getting old. I'm serious. I'm turning 30.
You're tripping out about that, aren't you?
I am. I don't know why. I don't like dentists now. I don't like needles now.
Welcome to the club.
Anyway, so I made the mistake of I'm laying back in the chair and he's already applied the topical numbing, you know, like just with the Q-tip.
Yeah.
And he comes in with the needle, which is like this long.
Oh, okay.
And he comes at me and he's like, all right, you're going to feel a pinch. And I did start feeling a pinch. And then I just see his hand going and it's not stopping. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you're going to jab through my cheek. You know, like, and I kind of wanted to ask him, but by then my mouth was kind of, anyway, so I had to have 5 shots of anesthetic. Yeah. 3 in the bottom, 1 up here and 1 over here, because it was 3 fillings that were bad. One of them was the amalgam, which I'm so glad that's out of my mouth. Well, although I probably got the worst mercury poisoning ever while they did it.
You mentioned that too that your heart started racing. Yeah.
So the shots have epinephrine, and I was trying to figure out. Okay, I knew I should have closed my eyes when he was doing that initial shot. When I was like, oh my God, he's going through my cheek. But so then I was like, okay, no, just calm down, you're fine. Just close your eyes now, you're okay, you can do this. Yeah. It's already numb, okay. And then all of a sudden my heart started beating fast. I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong. You know, I'm like, is my heart supposed to be beating like this? And he said, yeah, that's normal. It's epinephrine. There's epinephrine in the shot, and it can cause your heart to race. It'll last about a minute, and it did go away, thankfully.
Yeah, because that's uncomfortable.
I know, because I really don't want to develop panic disorder or something. You know,
like, am I having an anxiety attack? What's going on?
Yeah, I know, right? So
yeah.
Anyway.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Let's see what else. Yeah, and the drilling. You know, that was the sounds didn't bother me.
I don't like the smell of the tooth,
there's
the hot tooth.
There are a lot of smells. Yeah.
Boy, this is probably the most uncomfortable episode we've ever done.
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are probably squirming. I'm squirming.
No?
Yeah. The only thing that'd be more uncomfortable is talking about spiders.
Oh, dude, you should have seen this one article I saw today.
Oh, I don't think so. What do you got over there?
Okay. Let's see. This is myths. Flossing teeth. No more excuses. Kind of like what I was saying. Yeah. Excuse number 1. Food doesn't get caught between my teeth, so I don't need to floss. And that's where I was getting you don't need to floss for food in between your teeth. You floss for plaque in between your teeth. Right. Plaque that stays between your teeth turns into tartar buildup, and tartar buildup is really hard. And actually another fact that you might not know is that the enamel on our teeth is the hardest thing in our body.
I did know that, actually. What?
Doesn't come in second, does it?
What? Oh.
Anyway, okay.
Hey, sometimes it's the hardest thing on our body, right?
Right? Huh? Okay, excuse number 2, I don't know how to floss. Well, I kind of already told you about this, but start with about 18 inches of floss. And I know that sounds like a waste, and I am not a fan of waste, but you actually do need about that much.
That sounds like a conspiracy by the Dental Floss Manufacturers
No.
Association trying to get us to buy them. Well, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No. So, all right. So I'm not coordinated enough to floss. That's not going to work either.
No. What? How do you... What?
What?
You know what I want is...
What? Well, sometimes people have small mouths and,
You know what I'm ready for
What?
is... Are you familiar with nanites? Or nanoprobes?
Oh, well, I know about nanotechnology.
Okay. I want a toothpaste that has nano robots in it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just
Little skirt. Like okay.
And they just robot on my teeth constantly.
Robot on my teeth.
And then, but I'd swallow them and poop them out, so you got to brush every day. That way you recharge with nano teeth cleaners. But can we just get on that? I'm just saying. Quit building drones and focus on that. All right, what do you got?
All right, I don't have time to floss.
Well,
it doesn't take that long. If you have time to brush your teeth, you have time to floss. It hurts when I floss. Again, it hurts probably because you don't floss. Gum health. And let's see, the floss keeps shredding. Try waxed or do the dental tape.
I have a serious complaint.
What? Who did that?
Q5 sis.
Oh my god.
He green screened in a spider behind us when there was a massive spider in the studio during a live Linux action show. And he put it in there pretty good. Yeah, it's spider coming to get us. For you audio listeners, just imagine a giant spider behind us.
That's horrible.
It's really scary.
All right, I have a couple.
He's quick with the GIMP.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got over there?
I have a couple fun facts about humans and animals. Let me see if I can. There we go.
All right, lay it on me.
Let's see. Dogs have more teeth than humans and rarely get cavities because their saliva has an extremely high pH, which prevents demineralization.
And can I say something here? This is what started the myth that dog saliva fights germs and that dogs are safe to lick you.
Oh, gosh. Gross.
That is not true. But it is actually this higher pH level that does kill off some bacteria. But like when they go eat a big pile of poop and then lick you... Yeah, there's bacteria in that. I'm sorry to tell you, friend. Your dog's your dog's mouth does not smell like roses. That pH level doesn't fight off that stuff. Did you know that? What?
Is this Q5?
That's Q5 Sis's Raspberry Pi right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's gross. Yeah. Okay.
It is
all
gross.
right.
Yeah.
An elephant's molars can weigh up to 10 pounds.
Whoa.
That's like 2 gallons of milk. That's because a gallon of milk is, I think, about 5 pounds.
That's a weird thing to say, but okay.
Well, anyway, okay. I was just trying to give perspective. It's a small dog.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Elephants can have up to 6 new sets of teeth during a lifetime. Let's see.
See, okay.
What? What?
It sounds like we really got the short end of the stick as humans. Like, you get 2 sets of teeth. That first one we know you're going to blow through. So Darwin decided you get another set.
Right.
And then we just have to stick with this crappy set for the rest of our lives. Meanwhile, frickin' elephants are getting 6 sets.
Oh, there's some...
Dogs get pH, but you humans? Screw you!
Snails can have more than 25,000 teeth.
Snails, you guys.
Snails. Which are located on their tongue.
We got robbed.
Can you imagine teeth on your tongue?
No.
Yeah. There's a fish that has teeth on its tongue, too. Yeah, isn't that weird?
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
The Tyrannosaurus Rex had more than 60 thick, conical, bone-crunching teeth that were up to 9 inches long. Its jaws were up to 4 feet long.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool because I've never been able to perspectivize, new word, how big dinosaurs were. But a 4-foot jaw, that is huge.
That's a big
like
mouth.
The size,
Yeah, no, yeah.
His head would be the size of our studio area right here.
If I was a caveman and I killed a dinosaur, I would use the T-Rex's head as a cradle for my baby.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. All right. Hey, real quick, should we mention a couple things about next Saturday?
Geez, we should have done this way sooner.
I know.
Okay, look, and then I want to tell you my ideal teeth. Next Saturday, we are doing a faux extravaganza, a faux blowout, if you will. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. We've missed an episode. In fact, this is our first episode since the beginning of the month. Of course, it's only been 2 weeks in. But anyways, so we are going to do 4 faux shows next Saturday.
3.
3? We're going to do 3 faux shows next Saturday.
Which means if you watch football, you can... Well, you're going to miss more football.
Because the holidays are coming up, and we don't want to miss any faux for you guys, so we're going to record them all on a Saturday. And I propose, and I haven't flesh this out with Ange yet. But I was thinking we should drink the entire time, even though it is 10 o'clock.
Hopefully my stomach will be okay by then.
Because by the end, I think we could get nice and proper drunk for the third episode, and that could be really fun.
So it'll be faux beer is tasty, or a beer faux is tasty.
Yeah.
Faux is tasty.
And I was thinking, we could do just a drinks episode. We could. Or I could try to do, or we could take, like, we were talking about
with that.
We were talking about doing like a how-to episode. Put that as a third when I'm super plastered, and then try to get me to do a how-to super drunk.
Oh my
goodness. That could be good too.
Okay.
So anyways, we would love to have you join us. Are we going to start at 10?
I was thinking about it.
All right, so we'll start at 10 a.m. Pacific.
The thing is, I have to drop Bella off at my mom's, and that's an hour and a half round trip drive.
Do you think you'll go like at 10 or 9 or 8, or what do you think?
Well, I'd have to leave at like
8.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. Yeah, so we'll start around 10.
Yeah. I mean, if not, I can
which is the time that we started today.
If you don't make it back in time, I'll be live and I'll just play video games.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's going to be at least 3 or 4 hours straight of faux.
Yeah. It's a faux Saturday.
It should be interesting, and we'd love to have a really good live audience with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool.
Now, do you want to load up our? We spent $235,000 on this week's mail sack graphic, and I want to introduce it to you right now. It begins as the Jupiter mail sack, Jupiter mail sack. All right, Ange, what do we got in the mail sack today?
Okay.
I don't know if we should have spent $250,000.
I know,
or what
right?
did I say? $233,000.
35. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Anonymous writes, I'm glad to see you start using BitSync. BTSync?
Oh, BitTorrent Sync, yeah.
Okay. BitTorrent Sync for the Unfiltered Supporter Show. Would you consider doing this for all of your shows? I find it a very convenient way to access your content.
So the Unfiltered Show, for those of you who don't know, I'm taking all of the show notes since the NSA Prism story broke, which goes back to episode 54. Unfiltered just did episode 74 or 75, so we've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
I've taken all of that, which is essentially the source code of the Unfiltered Show, all of the clips, all of the artwork, all of the notes, stuff that doesn't make it in the show, video files, reference files. All of that has been shared over BitTorrent Sync to the people who support the Unfiltered Show. There's a supporters club for Unfilter. And then we're also taking, I think this is mainly what he's talking about, is we're taking the last 5 supporter shows, and I'm putting those in BitTorrent Sync. And then what people are doing is they're installing BitTorrent Sync on their cell phone. And they're downloading the last 5 shows using BitTorrent Sync to their cell phone and listening on the go, listening on their desktop, whatever.
Cool.
So Unfilter is sort of the test ground because the Supporters Club is a very set, narrow group of people, and we don't. When we roll it out for all of the stuff, all the shows, or whatever we're going to do, I need to be able to do that at a massive scale. So I'm sort of learning and taking my lumps with a smaller group. Once I feel like I really have a solution dialed in there, which I think we're getting closer to, then you'll probably start seeing us roll stuff out for every other show.
Yeah, because it includes the pre-show, the show, and the post-show, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do 5 episodes. And then the other thing I want to do for like all of our shows eventually would be nice. It's kind of like a form of backup is if people are interested, I would like to say take an entire show like TechSnap or LAS and say, here's all of the back catalog that I have. Because I've had some drive failures, right?
Yeah,
and so I would like to just say, if you want to download the entire catalog of this show, you can sync it and you become part of our backup, essentially, our backup strategy. That's all kind of coming out. It might be 2014 stuff with the new year and some other big stuff we have coming up, but yeah.
Right. Okay, so Levi writes, I am glad to see you. Nope, I just read that. Hello, Jupiter.
Hello.
I work in the TV news industry. This was a news story at the TV station I work at. Bacon-scented deodorant.
No, is that a thing?
Yeah. Do you have the notes open? The show notes?
I could. I should.
Here, I'll just put it in the chat room. You can click on it there.
I got it. No, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll do that too.
Here's a link for you to follow. Hope to see it on the FauxShow. I thought Jupiter.
Oh my gosh! Look
I thought
at this.
Jupiter when I seen this last night. I'm not sure if you know about it, but I wanted to share anyway. Love TechSnap, FauxShow, and Unfilter. I support any way that I can with the Jupiter browser extension. Keep it up.
Thank you for doing that. Especially we have the most expensive things of our lives coming up.
Right.
And so we really appreciate that.
And well, okay, go ahead and talk about
this.
this.
I was just going to say, you know what this bacon deodorant reminded me of?
Wow, what?
In Monsters Inc.
Oh yes, yeah.
Hey, can I borrow your odorizer? I got wet dog.
Garbage.
Yeah. That's what that reminds me of.
That should be interesting smelling.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I
don't
mean,
know.
maybe as a joke, but then who wants to smell bad as a joke? That's not a funny joke.
Yeah.
That's just a bad joke. What were you going to say?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I am torn on that.
Yeah, I don't
sure.
know, Ange. I don't know.
I mean, it says meaty fresh. That's okay.
Oh, wow, meaty fresh. That's a good episode title. I would like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would like that. Just like stocking stuffer.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Excellent stocking.
I know. Speaking of, next Saturday, one of the shows will be gift ideas. Because, Because it'll be released on Black Friday.
Okay.
So you can get Black Friday ideas and Cyber Monday ideas from that show. Also, if you install our browser extensions, even if you don't buy anything from Amazon or some of the other affiliates, just sharing it, well, specifically Amazon, if you just share that link with somebody else, it boosts up the percentage of any purchases that are made from anybody.
Right. Amazon counts even just traffic
Like
through
referral.
our affiliate. Yeah, referral traffic through our affiliate ID. And what that does, even if you don't purchase anything, that increases the overall percentage we make on the stuff that people do purchase.
Yeah. So like, after 1,000 clicks, our percentage gets bumped up 0.25%.
Yeah.
And it actually does make a difference.
So browsing with our extension installed helps. Sharing the link to somebody where they click on it, then it comes from their IP, that helps. And then you don't even have to buy anything. Then when people do buy, we get a higher percentage. And we're not talking, really, the reason why we mention this is it's not a crazy amount of money. It really requires the whole aggregate for it to actually really generate any revenue. That's why we mention it. Because individually, not so much. But if everybody really kind of does it, then we actually can move the needle a little bit.
Yep. So that is actually it for this faux show. We just have a crazy big next Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun, though.
Yeah, I think it will be. So thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. Sorry for those of you that would have liked to seen it yesterday at Friday.
But now you can join us next Saturday, and you can be here for the whole session if you like. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
We'll see you next week.
Yep. Don't forget, you can catch recent episodes of The Faux Show on
JupiterBroadcasting.com/Faux Show.
Also, get them on demand in the iTunes store. Search for Faux Show.